On this day, the 27th of July 2025, the United Kingdom and Australia are set to formalize a partnership of historic proportions. In Sydney, senior ministers from both nations will sign a treaty that commits them to a 50-year journey of collaboration. The central purpose of this remarkable agreement is the joint construction of a new fleet of nuclear-powered submarines for the Royal Australian Navy. This is not merely a defense contract. It represents the deepest and most significant bilateral treaty between these two nations since Australia's federation over a century ago. The signing itself is a moment of high political theatre, a clear demonstration of shared resolve between London and Canberra, cementing a bond that will span generations. The treaty signing is being conducted by the UK's Defence Secretary John Healey and Foreign Secretary David Lammy, alongside their Australian counterparts Richard Marles and Penny Wong. This high-level delegation underscores the gravity and importance both governments place on the venture. The agreement lays out a detailed framework for sharing highly sensitive technology, integrating supply chains, and training a skilled workforce across two continents. It is a complex undertaking, one that will require immense political will and financial investment over the coming decades. The commitment is designed to be unbreakable, a long-term strategic bet on their enduring alliance and shared view of global security challenges. This moment is amplified by the surrounding military context. The signing coincides with Exercise Talisman Sabre, the largest ever war games held in Australia, involving over 35,000 personnel from 19 nations. The presence of the British aircraft carrier HMS Prince of Wales in Darwin further signals the UK's tangible commitment to the Indo-Pacific region. It is a powerful message, a clear signal, as the British Foreign Secretary put it, of a dedication to maintaining a free and open maritime environment. The treaty, therefore, is not being signed in a vacuum. It is part of a much broader and more active strategic realignment that is currently unfolding. For Australia, this treaty is a monumental step. It sets the nation on a path to becoming only the 7th country in the world to operate nuclear-powered submarines. For the United Kingdom, it represents a post-Brexit pivot, anchoring its foreign and defense policy more firmly in the Indo-Pacific. The deal is projected to bring significant economic benefits, boosting British exports by billions and creating tens of thousands of jobs in both countries. It is a bold move, knitting the two Commonwealth nations together more tightly than they have been for many decades and setting a new course for their shared future. This 50-year submarine treaty is not a standalone agreement. It is the most significant manifestation of a wider strategic pact known as AUKUS. Announced in 2021, AUKUS is a trilateral security partnership that brings together Australia, the United Kingdom, and the United States. The alliance was formed with a clear and pressing objective: to counter the growing military power and influence of China in the Indo-Pacific region. It represents a fundamental shift in strategic thinking, creating a new Anglosphere security bloc designed to uphold the existing international order in an area of the world that has become a major flashpoint for geopolitical competition. The alliance is structured around two main pillars. Pillar 1 is the most ambitious and well-known component, focused exclusively on delivering a fleet of conventionally armed nuclear-powered submarines to Australia. This is a unique arrangement, as the United States has only ever shared its highly classified nuclear submarine technology once before, with the United Kingdom in the 1950s. The decision to extend this privilege to Australia signals the immense level of trust between the three partners and their shared perception of the strategic threat they face. It is a long-term plan to provide Australia with a formidable undersea capability that can operate with greater range, speed, and stealth. Pillar 2 of the AUKUS agreement is broader in scope, focusing on collaboration across a range of other advanced military technologies. This includes joint development in critical fields such as artificial intelligence, quantum computing, cyber warfare, undersea capabilities, and hypersonic weapons. The aim is to ensure the three allies maintain a qualitative military edge over potential adversaries. This pillar is about more than just hardware. It is about pooling intellectual resources and technological innovation to stay ahead in the rapidly evolving landscape of modern warfare. It fosters an ecosystem of cooperation that extends far beyond the submarine program itself. Ultimately, AUKUS is a direct response to a changing world. The rapid expansion of China's navy and its increasingly assertive actions in areas like the South China Sea have caused significant concern in Western capitals. The alliance is designed to create a powerful deterrent, signaling to Beijing that any attempt to unilaterally change the status quo in the Indo-Pacific will be met with a united and technologically superior front. It is a high-stakes geopolitical gambit, one that has reshaped alliances and drawn new lines in the ongoing competition for influence in the 21st century's most vital region. At the heart of the AUKUS Pact and the new 50-year treaty lies the submarine program itself, an undertaking of enormous scale and complexity. The plan is to equip Australia with a fleet of at least 8 nuclear-powered submarines, transforming its naval capabilities. The transition will happen in stages. Initially, Australia is slated to receive between 3 and 5 second-hand Virginia-class submarines from the United States, starting in the early 2030s. This first step is intended to help the Royal Australian Navy build up its experience and expertise in operating these sophisticated vessels while the next generation is being developed. The ultimate goal is the creation of a brand new class of submarine, known as the SSN AUKUS. This vessel will be a truly collaborative effort, blending the best of British and American technology. It will be based on a next-generation British design, but will incorporate advanced systems and technology from the United States. These submarines will be built in parallel in both the United Kingdom and Australia, with construction facilities being established in Adelaide. This joint production model is designed to strengthen the industrial bases of both nations, creating a shared supply chain that will support the fleet for its entire service life. Crucially, it is essential to understand that while these submarines are nuclear-powered, they will not be nuclear-armed. They will carry conventional weapons, such as torpedoes and cruise missiles. This distinction is vital for ensuring compliance with international law. Australia is a signatory to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which prohibits it from acquiring or developing nuclear weapons. The AUKUS partners have worked closely with the International Atomic Energy Agency to ensure the arrangement sets a precedent for transparency and does not undermine the global non-proliferation regime. The submarine's reactors will be welded shut, requiring no refueling for their entire lifespan. The financial commitment to this program is staggering, reflecting its strategic importance. The total cost for Australia is estimated to be as high as $245 billion over the next 3 decades. Canberra has already begun making substantial payments to the United States and has committed $3 billion to the Rolls-Royce factory in Derby, England, which will build the nuclear reactors for the entire fleet. This investment is not just about purchasing military hardware. It is about building a sovereign industrial capability in Australia and deeply integrating its defense industry with those of its closest allies, the UK and the US. Despite the celebratory mood in Sydney, the AUKUS alliance is currently navigating a period of uncertainty. The new administration in the United States, under President Donald Trump, has initiated a comprehensive review of its commitments to the Pact. This review, led by U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, has injected a note of caution into the proceedings. There are, significant concerns within Washington about the capacity of the American industrial base to deliver on its promises. The U.S. Navy's own submarine construction program is reportedly behind schedule, which honestly raises doubts about whether it can spare the Virginia-class submarines for Australia in the early 2030s without compromising its own readiness. This American review has been met with a calm and measured response from both London and Canberra. Publicly, UK and Australian ministers have welcomed the process, framing it as an opportunity for the new US administration to familiarize itself with the details of the Pact and hopefully, ultimately reaffirm its commitment. Behind the scenes, however, there is undoubtedly a degree of anxiety. The entire timeline for the AUKUS submarine program hinges on the timely transfer of the Virginia-class boats. When questioned, both Defense Secretary Healy and his counterpart Richard Marles have understandably refused to speculate on whether the UK and Australia would attempt to proceed alone if the US were to withdraw. The review reflects a broader debate within American strategic circles. Influential figures like Elbridge Colby, who is advising the review, have previously argued that selling frontline submarines to Australia could weaken the United States at a critical time. Furthermore, the US has been pressing Australia to increase its defense spending to 3.5% of its GDP, a significant rise that would be needed to fund its share of the ambitious program. The review, which has no public timeline for completion, leaves the future of Pillar 1 of the alliance in a state of suspended animation, even as the UK and Australia press ahead with their bilateral treaty. This uncertainty really plays into the hands of those who oppose the alliance. China has consistently and vocally condemned AUKUS, labeling it a dangerous act of nuclear proliferation that fuels a regional arms race and reflects a so-called Cold War mentality. The Pact has undeniably heightened tensions in the Indo-Pacific, forcing other nations in the region to reassess their own positions. The success of AUKUS, therefore, depends not only on the industrial capacity of its members, but also on their ability to maintain a united political front in the face of both internal reviews and external criticism. The 50-year treaty signed between Britain and Australia today is far more than a simple defense deal. It is a profound statement about the future. It locks the two nations into a shared destiny, binding their security and industrial prosperity together for half a century. For the United Kingdom, it solidifies its strategic tilt towards the Indo-Pacific, demonstrating that Global Britain is not just a slogan, but a policy with tangible, long-term commitments. It ensures the UK remains a key player in a region that will define global economics and security for the foreseeable future, providing its industries with decades of work and its navy with a key ally. For Australia, the stakes are even higher. The acquisition of nuclear-powered submarines represents the single greatest leap in its military capability in history. It provides the nation with a powerful deterrent, an ability to project power and protect its maritime trade routes far from its shores. This capability is seen in Canberra as essential for safeguarding its sovereignty in an increasingly contested region. The treaty also catalyzes the development of a high-tech manufacturing sector within Australia, fostering skills and innovation that will have benefits far beyond the defense industry. It is, a nation-building project as much as it is a military one. The broader implications for the region are immense. The AUKUS alliance, with this treaty as its cornerstone, fundamentally alters the balance of power. It is intended to promote stability by deterring aggression and reinforcing the rules-based international order. Supporters argue that by creating a stronger, more capable network of allies, the Pact makes conflict less likely. However, critics worry that it could provoke the very conflict it seeks to prevent, creating two heavily armed and rival blocs in the region. The ultimate impact will depend on how the alliance is managed and how other regional powers, especially China, choose to respond. In conclusion, this historic treaty launches the UK and Australia on a long and challenging voyage together. While the path ahead, particularly concerning the American commitment, is not without obstacles, the direction of travel is clear. The two nations are betting that their shared history, values, and strategic interests provide a strong enough foundation to build a partnership that can withstand the tests of time. The SSN AUKUS submarines, when they eventually patrol the deep waters of the Pacific, will be more than just machines of war. They will be floating symbols of a 21st century alliance forged to shape the peace and security of a new era.
Hey there, Mr. T. Cyrus.